Welcome to Humaning. I just ran into a little snippet of a TED Talk by one of my, I don't know if she's one of my favorite authors, but one of my favorite authors on the topic of emotional fitness, which I wrote my most recent book about. Lisa Barret. I'm probably butchering her name. I'll have to fix that. In any case, the point that she was getting at and that I love is that our emotions come from guessing, because our brains are these predictive machines or balls of fat. Hi, puppy. Want to come up here? Come on. And I was reflecting on so many of my negative emotions specifically about certain relationships and how my predictions about future relationships get influenced by those past relationships, such that these patterns become more and more ingrained. I wrote about it in my book because it's been apparent in my own life and in many lives around me. And yet, seeing the pattern isn't the same as breaking the pattern. And breaking the pattern is sometimes really hard and painful. So I don't blame people for not wanting to do it or not doing it perfectly. I am certainly not doing it perfectly. And I'm doing my best, though. And that's how I know it's hard. Yeah. I just wanted to mention that. What do you think? Do you notice that pattern? I imagine that if it's a positive loop, like people who successfully predict, I think we're all predicting wrong at least a lot of the time, but I think those who successfully predict positive things probably behave in certain ways that then increase the likelihood of those positive things, or at least more positive things. I think this is how the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, so to speak, to sum it up. And how trauma begets more trauma, both in the lives around us if we stay in that trauma state, but also in our own self because of this guessing game that our brain plays based on past experiences. So if you've had a lot of trauma, then rightfully so, your brain will start to perceive trauma because it's looking for it, basically, because it's guessing that that's what's going to happen again. And then as it perceives that trauma, even if it's exaggerating or misinterpreting the effect, that acts as further clarification, more weight to that prediction, so that future predictions are even more likely to create a traumatic interpretation. And that kind of interpretation, in turn, often leads to actual traumatic experiences. Ask me how I know.